So business Tories up 0.1%. Seems pretty weak. We have a new high of the day in the S&P 500 futures. Okay, and a new high of the year, new high of the week, new high of the month. So intraday we look strong. Apple just had a huge bull bar. That was a $7 bull bar in Apple. You don't see those very often in Apple. I have not seen any news. I saw some AOL put buyers.
And the NASDAQ composite 12-year highs here, up 16 points, David.
All right, well, we've got another dose of breaking news here. The Senate Finance Committee about to convene.
So Apple's selling off here. It is too strong to short right now, but if I get a bear bar setup, I might short it. I'm short VNO. I'm short VNO at 85.74. The stock is coming down a little bit, so that trade is working a little bit. AOL, I talked about AOL puts being bought. I didn't jump on quick enough. AOL puts being bought. Paper bought. And when I talk about paper, paper is an order from a hedge fund, mutual fund, retail bank, or big trader. Paper bought. Feb 30 puts in AOL. Paper bought. Feb 30 puts in AOL.
Inside Citi, he's going to refer to himself a little bit as a change agent inside that financial institution.
Sorry, Feb 37 puts in AOL. Feb 37 puts in AOL were bought for 50 cents. Those are worth 70 right now. So that trader's already up 40% gains. I saw paper buy, AOL puts, stock is selling off here.
Some investments in one of those Cayman funds, you can expect that some senators are going to point that out and say that that's hypocrisy, and they're going to want to know more.
I need DE lower.
As you say, David, we're expecting
I need fossil lower. Getting some profits back in fossil. Getting some profits back in Panera. Cliff has moved too much. Cliff is down 18% today.
So if you don't do this well, it can really damage your chances, guys.
All right, Eamon,
March 35 TXN opening position. So I really haven't seen that much unusual option activity today that I would want to trade. AZN, let's look at that one. AstraZeneca, 9,000 July 50 calls are bought. That's interesting.
To eliminate the sequester and the harmful cuts that will come as a result.
Wow.
Republicans have twice passed bills to
That's
replace for the sequester.
9,000 AZN July 50 calls are bought.
To stop the sequester from going into effect.
So paper bought 9,000 AZN July 50 calls for 65 cents. It's a pretty big order in AZN. I'm going to pull this one up real quick. You know, there's a 3-day rule that says don't look for a long for 3 days as the stock gaps lower. So I might look to buy these in AZN, AstraZeneca, but I don't want to do it today. I'll put this on my radar. 9,000 July 50 calls, and let me look at the open interest. You know, I call things lottery tickets, and this most likely is a lottery ticket. July 50 calls, trade 60 cents.
Because it highlighted particularly
July 50 calls, trade 60 cents. I'm going to bid the 55 calls for 15 cents. Most likely I won't get filled on these. AZN. I just bid July 52.5 for 15 cents. AZN, bullish activity in AZN. I'm going to put that down here.
And at least 5 over the next couple of years, and that's going to allow us to make the kinds of investments to make.
Talked about puts being sold in FTNT, and I said that I did not want to take a position.
Have moved out of town, and coupling them with
in FTNT. Apple now lower.
Tech jobs and make them hubs for high tech
jobs. And how to further that when obviously the main concern is still the cost, right? It's still the deficit. It's still these deadlines that we're
still in a short in Vornado.
So that's why we need a balanced approach to deficit reduction, and that's what the president started off with right at the top. We've done $2.5 trillion in deficit reduction already. We have $1.5 trillion left in his $4 trillion proposal to bring the deficit down. We got to do it in a balanced way. It can't be cuts only. Cuts only would be devastating.
I'm short Vornado, VNO.
A too fragile recovery.
Minimum wage. What's the appetite on the Hill?
Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, I hope the president.
So
talking about the
overlapping
needs of
bars
bringing
in the
Americans
ES
out of
minis.
poverty. I mean,
10-minute
$14,500
bar
a
is
year for Americans to
overlapping,
live on is absolutely
which means
unacceptable. Hopefully, he
uncertainty.
melted some frozen hearts, but tying the minimum wage to the cost of living
USG I'm
and
going to take
increasing it
off
to
here.
$9 is the least we can do to make
I was
sure
going to
that
bid the
we don't have
drive
third world
14
wages
calls
in
that
the
I'm
United States
short
of America.
for
Immigration,
nickel.
too?
You know, I'm not going to get
Likely?
filled on
Looking more
those.
likely after last night?
Well, it seemed like it. You know, if you judge by how quickly
Fossil,
the
the lower the
Republicans stood
better
up
for
and
me.
said,
Fossil, the
We were
lower
joking
the
about
better.
the standing ovations
I'm
earlier
short a
today.
call spread. I'm
I don't
short
care
the
what the reason is. I
105,
mean, I clearly
110
think
call
they're more
spread.
inclined now
I
because of
talked
the
about
fact
yesterday that I thought I was going to go to all $5.
of the Latino vote across the country, but we need to get it done. It's important for the economy. Undocumented immigrants, the 11 or 12 million that are here, are an important component of the backbone of our economy, of the work
Hard to get
that
short
we
Apple
make
on a
sure is done.
$7 bar.
That would suffer if they were not here, and we've got to give them a legal path to citizenship.
I think Simon may have a question for you back in New York. Simon?
Congresswoman, good morning. I too am an immigrant, so I would like
S&P
your
pushing to the high of the
interpretation
day.
of what we saw last night, if possible. It seemed to me that the president was dancing in front of the Republican Party.
I got
with
long
a
some
list
riverbed
of
calls
things that
yesterday.
he would propose, saying,
RVBD.
"Come on, then,
Stock's
come
up
on,
9
oppose me
cents
in
today.
public." It was
I
surely
bought some
pure
riverbed
politics. He
calls when
wasn't
paper
actually
bought
advancing
SEP
very much. He knows
18
what the
calls. I
guidelines
bought some as
are
well
in
yesterday.
Congress. He chooses not
I'm up a
to
little bit
engage
in
with them.
those.
He chooses at this stage not to engage on the sequester. And the two sides are poles apart, and we
The
have
scans some unusual more option activity.
Oh, come on. The president has
AZN is a big one.
that includes a balance
Men's
approach to
Warehouse.
spending
I
cuts
see
and
some.
revenue so that we can
I
address
don't
the
like to
deficit
see
reduction,
spreads
so that we can
trade. I
make
want to
the
trade
cuts
big
and the
single
deficit
orders.
reduction necessary and the
AZN is the biggest order I've seen today.
so that we can set the sequester aside. The sequester was designed to make sure that we put pressure on ourselves so that we don't have to have that kick in. But Republicans, unbelievably, are actually talking about allowing the sequester to happen. Where is their balanced proposal? It's been non-existent.
PACR.
Why, therefore, does the president again
Pacer
now embark on
International,
3
March
days of
5's
traveling
traded
the
nickel.
country to try and court public opinion,
My
rather
number
than
one thing
wanting
is to
the
see
halls of
puts being
Congress to
sold.
bring
My
heads
number 2
together?
thing is to see
Because the
calls
only way
being
that
bought.
the Republicans are going to understand
I don't like to
that Americans
see
should
calls
support
being sold because I don't think that
common sense
is
proposals
great
to
unusual
get our
option
economy turned
activity.
around, is if he takes his case to the American people.
I was going to look
and
at
their constituents
ACAS
talk to
just
them and tell them that
curiously.
they want them to
Stock's up a little
work with
bit.
him,
LYV,
compromise, and stop engaging
Live
in my way or the highway
Nation.
politics. You would have thought that
Not
they
too
would have
much.
understood that after the election results centered and the election debate centered around this whole question, but clearly they haven't gotten the message.
When it comes to Marco Rubio, I want you to be as gracious as you can because,
Really so.
yes, I mean, stylistically, the speech probably read better than it was delivered. But was the message that he was trying to get across regarding a reinvention of the GOP, did that get lost last night?
You know, it was a high-pressure moment for anyone.
Amazon's up $7 today. Wow.
Be on the stage in front of
Amazon up
people, get a
$7.
message across, and be the voice of the opposition. And
Maybe they saw how much I was buying on Prime.
He's a nice guy. I think actually he had a little.
Apple selling off here a little bit. Possible double top in Apple on the 10-minute.
Yesterday, Marco Rubio
Do not have a position on an Apple. I'm only looking at it to the short side. SPOOs are too strong for me to short Apple, though.
How could he do that? How could what it showed that he wasn't ready for prime
Only
time,
the stats
was
for the
not just
current
how
day.
he delivered that speech,
Yes.
but that he voted against making
So
sure
if
we can
5,000
protect women from
options
domestic violence in
trade
this country.
and the open interest is 5,000, I don't look to make a trade. And I'll go over the Oak Ribbit trading plan for you guys at 9:30 again. I like to go over this a lot. You know, the chart is very important. How does the chart look? But the volume versus open interest is the #1 indicator that I look at. I want to be trading opening positions. I don't want to be trading closing positions. So the first thing I always look at is the volume versus open interest. And I'll go over the Oak Ribbit trading plan for you guys in a couple minutes.
Does Mike Mayo think Jack Lew the right pick for Treasury? And what might his election mean for the financials?
Yeah. APC up half. I did sell a partial piece of my puts in APC. Didn't sell enough of them. The two big ones I'm looking at, you know, I need fossil lower. Microsoft higher. Microsoft above 28. My Bloomberg trade for Deere, yeah, that one's working well. I ended up not doing that one, and I ended up doing a put fly, and that one's only working. The put fly is only working out because I was smart enough to I was smart enough to sell 60% of it. Bank of America reiterating a buy in Apple price target. Bank of America reiterating a buy in Apple. Apple selling off here a little bit. SPOO's selling off a little bit. It's tough to get short the SPOOs or Apple. EXC Feb 32s are sold at a nickel. LinkedIn Feb 140 puts are bought for a penny. Chop Chop. AFFX. I think those are the calls sold at a nickel. AZN getting a bid here a little bit after paper bought some calls. Stocks up about 10 cents as those calls were bought. You know, as I go through and look to see everything I have positions on, not too much of anything. You know, I'm getting some money back in Fossil, which is good.
The S&P 500 hitting levels they have not seen since 2007, but can Washington derail this rally? Bob
Now
Pavlik,
go over the Oak Ribbit
strategist
trading plan for you
at
guys
Goldman
at
Partners. Bob,
9:30.
good to see you.
How you doing,
And of
Melissa?
course, for any skeptics of this massive run that we've seen so far this year, the S&P 500 up almost 6.5% so far this year.
Disney up 33 cents. Disney's probably up on the Comcast news. You know, Comcast came out and said they were going to buy a bunch of stock back. Stock surge higher. Most likely, you know, Apple here, you know, is it a possible short setup on the close of the 10? Stop would have to be above the high. High of the day is 788. So, you know, a good risk versus reward setup from my point of view. As this bar closes, I might take a short in Apple with a tight stop at around 2.5. I think it's, you know, a fine setup. I don't think it's the greatest setup. $7 bar. So I'm going to watch for a short setup here. FURX.
Additional revenue, and the president
Stocks
said,
up
well,
3, a 52-week high in FURX, and you know, unusual option activity. I see like a 20 lot, a 17 lot, so not very much of anything.
For the benefit of the people that are out there. Last night's speech offered up some hope.
As this bar closes, I probably will short it in Apple. I will short it in Apple. I will have about, I'm gonna have my stop about $1.50 above the high, so I'll have a 2.5 stop in Apple.
I want to home in
And
on
the way Apple trades, I could get stopped in like 20 seconds. So I will have a stop at 2.5 in Apple. I'll just close. I'm going to short Apple here. And a 2.5 stop. Where is it?
I think you have to kind of look at it like this. I mean, you're probably in the bottom of the 8th. You have 2 outs. You have a man on. You have a, you know, third best hitter up at the plate. The pitch is being delivered. Is he going to be able to hit the ball out of the park? Most likely not. He'll probably get a single.
So I'm trying to short Apple again, 468, 65. The way I usually do this, if I don't get filled, then I cancel it. I just try to short Apple at 468.65, and I'll have a $4 stop on it. So I'm trying to short Apple 486.65. I missed an Apple 468.65. I'm still in there. I'm trying to short Apple. I'll have a $4 stop in Apple. Trying to short Apple at 468.65. And I'll have a $4 stop. The way Apple trades, you can fill in $4 on a stop in like 20 seconds.
I don't think it goes far enough, but I don't think you're going to see much in the way of a overall pattern.
So I'm looking to short Apple here. I think I just got filled. I hear a click. I went to go get my cell phone. So I'm in an Apple short 468.65. I'm going to have a $4 stop.
For what's going on in the overall economy. I mean, you're seeing an improvement in auto sales, an improvement in employment.
So I am a short an Apple at 468.65. I'm short Apple 468.65, and I'll have a stop above the high of the day.
So our outlook is that you're going to see.
So I'm short Apple 468.65. I'll have a 472.65 stop. I have a $4 stop in Apple. And the way Apple trades, that could be like 20 seconds. Hopefully it won't be, but I don't look to add it all.
What the federal government is doing.
So you wouldn't be concerned that the retail sales growth, for example, was announced.
So my stop in Apple is 472.65.
That came through on the payroll.
I'm short Apple at 468.65. So I'm going to put that in here. I'm still in my VNO short. That one's working out. So I shorted Apple at 468.65 with a $4 stop.
You obviously live in a different world than I do.
I'm short Apple.
I've never heard anybody say that. If they need a new refrigerator, then they go out and buy one. They don't say it because it's based on their taxes.
What happens if they say, I'm actually not going to go to my local McDonald's because my payroll taxes are up 20 or 30?
What's the open of the day?
Alternatively,
466.96. You know, that's a target. You know, it's only a dollar and a half lower.
Potentially what we're seeing on consumer discretionary?
Well, potentially you could see that happening. But it's not going to be, again, based on taxes. They're going to see that their checks are a little bit lower. They may go to McDonald's a little bit less, but they'll still go to McDonald's because it offers value. They'll still go to Yum Brands, Kentucky Fried
So
Chicken,
Apple's going higher now. Spoo's on the highs of the day.
They may not be going to, you know, the higher end stores, the Macy's and the Nordstrom.
Paper buys 120,000
like Walmart, like Target,
VIX May call spreads.
and, like I said, Kentucky Fried. I think that's what you're going to probably seeing, sort of a
Cleveland
trade
Cliffs
down,
just
but you're not
breaking
gonna see
down.
you, you know, escape from those particular areas.
All right, Bob, got it. Thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.
Bob Pavlik of Banyan.
After the break, why it may be
My buddy just texted me from the VIX pit.
luxury hotels.
Paper bought 120,000 May 1825 call spreads.
Plus, a member of the Senate
I'm gonna buy some of those too.
offers up his thoughts on the countdown
Paper
to
bought
automatic spending cuts on March 1st.
VIX
Senator John Barrasso of
May
Wyoming
1825 call spreads. Paper bought 120,000 call spreads.
Real-time exchange market snapshot is sponsored by
So I'm gonna bring this one up real quick. A $7 call spread in the VIX in May.
Interactive Brokers.
So May 1825 call spread in the VIX trades 120,000 times. That's what they call an order. Let me just bring this up. The 1825 call spread in the VIX trades. I'm going to bid it right now. It's already worth 105. It's worth about 110. So I'm going to bid the VIX May 1825 call spread. The May 1825 call spread, a $7 call spread in the VIX. And I'm going to bid $1 for this thing. I'm going to put it in the book, $1 bid. The VIX May 1825 call spread. I'm bid in the book for $1. Let's see what the VIX is doing today. The VIX is up 11 cents. The VXX is down 3 cents. So Apple's already rallied $1 from where I shorted it. I have a stop at 265. You can see the SPOOs on another new high. Fossil coming back to the upside now. That's not what I wanted to see. Look at the market on a daily chart. It's hard to fade this market. Straight channel, straight up. Higher highs, higher lows. Just continued to go up. You know, and this reminded me of the beginning of last year. Look at how long this lasted. This was from January 1st, January 3rd, 2012. That lasted 3 months. So this can last a very, very long time. IMAX, papers bought these calls. Now they sold them out. IMAX, June 27 calls. This was actually something Dr. J talked about on TV, and it was a great trade. IMAX, June 27 calls were bought for 80 cents. We can see here on the right. Paper bought 8,000 June 27 calls and IMAX for 80 cents. They just sold 1,500 of those for a double. Okay? So paper bought these IMAX calls. I should have jumped on board. I didn't. Now they're selling 1,500 of their 8,000 out for $1.50. They paid 80 cents. Sell them for $1. Paid 80 cents. Sold them for $1.50. The VXX, I'm bidding a call spread. So VXX, I am bidding a call spread. I have not got filled. I'm bidding a March 1825 call spread, a $7 call spread. May 7 calls in ZIOP are bought. ZIOP paper bought the May 7 calls for 70 cents. I'm not taking a trade in that. Paper bought 3,500 of these. Sorry, paper bought 3,500. 3,500 ZIOP. May 7 calls for 70 cents.
And CEO of Choice Hotels. Steve, I asked the question because in order to generate growth in the present environment, you're actually lending people money. You're putting, I think it's $68 million on the table for other people to get growth in Arizona.
So what I'm down in Apple, actually I'm still up in VNO.
Running out of steam?
Well, not only